Hey, and welcome to the next episode of Hot as Hell with Chrissy. Now, in this episode, I talk to my friend Katherine about a topic that I know lots of women struggle with, including myself. This is a sensitive topic, and I should probably warn you that there are some really possibly triggering moments in this conversation. We're talking about alcohol and relationship with alcohol. Now, Katherine has just celebrated 4 years, 4 months, and 4 days sober. But life wasn't always that way. And so she is going to give us a raw and unfiltered look into her relationship with alcohol, how her drinking started, how it affected her life, and how she got sober. I know that you're going to find this really insightful, and I'm just so proud of Katherine and grateful that she shared this with us. Enjoy the episode. Hi, and welcome to Hot as Hell, the podcast with Chrissy. I am delighted to introduce my next guest. Me and Katherine have known each other for a year, over a year now.
Yeah.
That long. And I'm really, really honoured that Katherine has said that she'll come and talk about this topic. It's a topic that is really important to me for a couple of reasons. It's something I've explored myself, but I know it's really important to a lot of women that I speak to. So, Katherine Williams Fitness is here to talk about alcohol with us. Katherine, tell us who you are, what you do, and I didn't prep you for this one, but what makes you fabulous?
Ooh, okay. All right. Hi. I'm Katherine. I'm a 56-year-old postmenopausal single sober mum, but don't let all those labels. I'm fabulous because I don't let labels label me. So I work online predominantly. I'm predominantly online. I live in Valencia, Spain. I do online and in-person coaching. I help women go from surviving to thriving by taking deep dives into what's been holding them back for years and looking at changing their identities as well as their habits.
Love it. Love it. Um, okay, so we're talking about alcohol. This is a topic that has interested me for a long time. Some people listening might not know this, you might not know this. So, myself have an interesting relationship with alcohol. I have definitely changed my relationship with alcohol in the last couple of years, but I also have a brother he was 9 years clean and sober. Oh, emotion. 9 years clean and sober on Sunday. So
Amazing.
it is a very close to my heart topic. And I am so honoured that you would come and share your experience with me and all of the people listening. So tell us, how long have you been sober for? Because you share this in days often, and I love it.
Yeah, actually, yes. So, and I just wrote it down, even though I have an amazing app called I Am Sober. So today I am 1,578 days sober, which in old money terms is 4 years, 3 months, and 27 days.
Amazing.
Which is, thank you, which is amazing. I remember somebody a few months ago said to me, "What, you're still counting the days?" I was like, absolutely, because every day is a celebration. You don't take your foot off. There's something I'm sure we'll get into. I mean, for me, I'm holding myself accountable. And this one app in the
Mm.
morning, first thing I do, you have to kind of pledge your day, and then you review at the end of the day. And I don't know about you, but I love that accountability and just seeing, especially at the beginning, which again we'll kind of get
Yeah.
on to. But now, like, my next big milestone will be 5 years. Will be 5 years on. So my last drink was on New Year's Eve, the 31st of December, 2021. Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. Amazing. Okay, so tell us how your drinking started and how bad it got.
Okay. So my first memory of getting blackout drunk, I was 14. I was 14. I was sent to boarding school at 8. I was 8 years old. I have an 18-year-old daughter. I can't imagine sending an 8-year-old. My dad was military. I'm not putting any blame on anybody, but this is just to give a little bit of background. So I was 14 years old. It was sweet sherry. I've never been able to drink sherry. Well, obviously I don't drink now, but since it was a bottle of sweet sherry, when there was 4 of us, I got so drunk, I got blackout drunk. That was my first time. And I was found in the boys' showers by somebody. Yeah. So that was the first time. That was my first time. So 14. Then I kind of drank as a normal kind of teenager. In my 20s, I was a serious party girl in London. And I lived in Hong Kong, and I was in Ministry of Sound every weekend. And, you know, it would be 3-day weekends. And that I think what I consider to be kind of normal drinking, you know, that kind of binge drinking at the weekends, going out and partying and having no responsibility, no, you know, working for other people, no kids, no mortgage. And so that was my 20s, which was very typical. Then come to my 30s, it started to be, I lived in Spain. I moved to Spain when I was 29, and in Spain there's a very big drinking culture, but actually they tend to drink and eat. It's not quite so much binge drinking, but there's a lot of drinking. But and even then it was probably just kind of social drinking, but erring on the heavy side, where things really, can I swear on this? Can I swear?
Yes, you can.
So when the shit really kind of hit the fan is when I left my ex-husband with a 15-month-old baby, and I'd been living in oh gosh, I'm going to get emotional. I've been living in Spain for 10 years. I suddenly had this small baby. My mum said, come home, come back to England, you know, and she kind of took us in. And I remember her saying to me, rightly or wrongly, she goes, oh, look, there's always wine in the fridge. You just, you know, just drink, just if you need it, just if you need to drink, you know, just have a drink. And it was like, and that's when it really started, when I was in a really difficult, dark place. And that's when I think I really, so that would have been, yeah, so end of my 30s. I'm now 56. So that's when I really started to use alcohol to numb my feelings, to cope, to forget. You know, it wasn't any fun anymore. And every time if I did go out, I would always be the first one to be blackout drunk, Right. I wouldn't remember. And there'd be those dreading those messages the next morning and kind of going, oh, what did I do today? What did I do this time? Whose husband did I try to get? Literally, I mean, whose husband did I try to get off with? What argument did I start or stop, or what? And I just never remembered. And so, I mean, I've been a coach for 17 years. I mean, Chris, if I think of when I was living in England, alternating which supermarket I would go and get my wine, how, you know, so one day it would be Morrison's, one day it would be Sainsbury's, worrying, trying not to get the same checkout person, or doing self-service. Then how do I get rid of all the empties? And I remember so many times, I mean, I laugh now, going to take my empties to the recycling bins, and someone going, oh, did you have a party last night? I was like, no, that's just my week's bottles.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of go, oh, the thing is, you make joke, but this is the problem. This is the problem with alcohol. It's like being, oh, have a good time, you know, wine o'clock, rosé all day, you know, it's all, and it's socially acceptable. You know, you drink when to celebrate, you drink to commiserate, you drink when you're lonely, you drink when you're happy. It's like, this is just, it's socially acceptable, and it's social conditioning that it's okay. And it's an addictive drug. It's as addictive as, you know, heroin, cocaine, or anything else. I mean, it's an addictive substance, but it's on television, it's in magazine. Well, maybe not so much now. But so it got, I mean, that was in my kind of 30s. Then I looked after my mum She had cancer. I looked after her for 3 years. And that was yet again tough. Drinking, coping, running my business. So I was running a very successful in-person personal training business in Herefordshire, bringing up my daughter on my own, then looking after my dying mum. So it was my crutch, It was the one thing, I was never, and I always, and you have these little rules. Well, I'm not drinking first thing in the morning. I'm not drinking before 12. I can't have a problem. I'm not on a bench drinking out of a paper bag. I don't have a problem. I don't drink spirits. I only drink wine. You put these kind of rules in, and it's called, it's kind of called this cognitive dissonance, where you believe one thing, but you do another. And it's this tug of war. It's like, well, I don't really have a problem. And this went on for years. And then when my mum died, I had a year where I don't even remember the year. I don't remember work. I don't remember. I did work, but I would have continued. And my drinking, how bad it got, I'd only ever have 1 bottle of wine in the house, because if there were 2, I drink 2. If there were 3, I drink 3. So that was Monday to Friday. But Saturday and Sunday, so Saturday, it would be a bottle of wine at lunchtime. Before I'd even made the meal, I'd have drunk a bottle of white wine. I mean, within maybe less than an hour. And then in the evening, I'd have a bottle of red wine, and that red wine would be gone yet again before I'd even, so that was, so my, I probably could work it out, but my units per week were dangerously high. I was also exercising, working out, training people, being a mum, driving a car, all of these things. I was a functioning, I don't like to use the word alcoholic. For me, I have an alcohol use disorder, but whatever you call it, potato, tomato, I have a problem with alcohol, So I was functioning, but sad, anxious, the anxiety, waking up in the morning thinking, when is the first opportunity? And then going to bed and having to check my phone to see when I was last on my phone, to see what time I went to bed, and then having the most terrible sleep, and then, waking up groggy and puffy and bloated. And then, it was, and just pushing through. I pushed through for 20 odd years, really pushed through. And then I moved to Valencia when my daughter was 8. Drinking was continued. I set up my business all over again. And then fast forward to COVID. And I remember the panic going, COVID, how am I going to, I went online, I was doing live sessions, 3 live sessions a day with my 2 bottles. The problem I had, because I'd had to try and keep it at 2 bottles of wine a day. You could only go out so often. Spain was really strict. And so I was doing these sessions, and I would, be drinking as well. But nobody, honestly, people who maybe knew me really well, but no, I hid it.
Wow.
I absolutely, it's, I ran races. I ran the marathon. I did everything, but I took a month off before. This is what maybe we'll get to about how I eventually stopped, because I tried dry January, I tried sober October, and this is what I want to really get across, is that's white knuckling it. That's like going on a crash diet. You kind of go, you can do anything for 30 days. And then come February, after you're straight back in, or come November, then it's like, right, party season. So what have you learned? You haven't learned anything. You're just restricted. It's like being on a really strict diet. Yes, you can lose weight quickly if you really restrict. But what happens when you go back to normal life? It all piles back on again. And this is how, when my approach eventually shifted from the white knuckling, which I did try over the years. I do a month here, a month there. And and this is a really key point, a month is not nearly enough to actually see a difference. It takes months. Well, obviously it depends on your level of drinking, but it takes months to really start kind of calibrating or recalibrating. And so hence these people think they're they're doing something. I mean, yes, it's a month is better, absolutely better than nothing, but it's just scratching the surface. I don't know, that was a bit of a rant, a bit of a, I don't know, did that, was
No,
that,
no,
yeah.
you made me so emotional. I resonate with a lot of that. My own relationship with alcohol is that for a long time I think I used it to numb feelings that I just didn't really want to feel. And then I took about 4.5 months off of drinking last year for a photo shoot prep. And I was like, oh, wow, I'm actually all right without alcohol. And I mean, I hadn't drunk as much in the previous few years anyway. When perimenopause really hit and I started really noticing symptoms, I noticed how different I felt towards alcohol. The response to alcohol in perimenopause for me was completely different to before. you
I
know
mean,
i
it's a
w-
fact, like we kind of metabolize alcohol differently, I mean, as if we need anything else through perimenopause and
yeah,
menopause, but
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
it makes
so
it
I didn't
harder.
drink for about 4.5 months last year. And I didn't drink in January this year, not for dry January, just wasn't drinking in January. I went to Barbados and drank when I was in Barbados with my parents, and I haven't drunk since the day I got back. So, like, now I really feel like I can take it or leave it, and I really feel like, I'll go on holiday to France in the summer and I will have a glass of wine because that wine will have been made down the road and I will enjoy that one glass of wine. I only need the one.
Now, but will it be the wine, or will it be the setting, the location, the memory? Because it's actually, it's the kind of what you associate with. Because actually, if you haven't, I don't know about if you found like when you stopped drinking for a while, the first time you had wine or alcohol, did it not just taste like alcohol? I mean, like, did it not just taste
Hmm.
bad?
No, maybe, yeah, maybe actually some of the things, if I think about when I was in Barbados and you think it's cocktails there, I didn't drink wine there. And that was like, oh, all I can taste is sugar and then like the acid of the alcohol. Yeah, that's interesting. But
Mm-hmm.
it it really, we've known each other for a long time and you've always been really open with me about this, but I didn't realize that it had been going on for so long, which is I think why I knew I wanted to get you on the podcast and probably why we've never spoken about it in detail, because I wanted to hear it firsthand now. um
Ask away. I mean, I don't mind sharing, but it's yeah. I mean, I did also from a work point of view, there's part of me that kind of felt like a fraud for a long time.
yeah.
I was trying to, helping the, I mean, there's two sides of it. I can really help women because I can really empathize with struggles they meet, but people have like with food. I mean, my addiction, and it is an addiction, is with alcohol. I can take or leave. Apart from white chocolate, I can't take or leave white chocolate. Like, I can't have white chocolate in the house because I absolutely love it. I'll just devour it. But food, I'm not really a foodie. So, but then I help work, women who have problems with their food or with their phones more recently, well, more the past few
Mm.
years, and just absolutely. And so, whilst having felt like a fraud at times, feeling that I'm saying, giving all this great advice and being, from the outside, you look in, you're like, God, you look fit and healthy. On the inside, it was very, very different. But,
Did you
I've
find you use that as an excuse? Oh, but I train and I exercise and I run, and so it doesn't matter to
possibly,
yourself.
possibly no, but I like to do hard things. I like it if it's harder. So if I was tired, if it was hard, that the kind of struggle, and that, gosh, that unpacks to a whole lot of other things. But
Mm.
if it's hard, I like it. So
Okay.
yes, yeah. So I'm not saying necessarily that motivated me, but yeah, I was okay with it being hard. Yeah.
So you've said about the struggle, you said you carried on working through this, but looking back, because, isn't that a precious thing that we can have, is to look back. How did it affect, how was it affecting your life? How was it affecting your business, do you think? Or was it?
Now this, ooh. um, I think one of the biggest things is not being present for my daughter.
Mm.
And I feel I'm really trying to make up for that now,
Yeah.
because I just wanted her to get into bed quickly so I could just carry on drinking.
Mm.
For work, I mean, I was always fully booked and got amazing results. So I just seem to, it's funny, I could just kind of switch off work, but my biggest thing would be with my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's
Yeah.
about being present. It's about being present. And I wasn't present when you're trying to think the whole time about when you can next have a drink, which supermarket you're going to go to, or how are you going to get rid of the bottles, or do I smell of alcohol, or so you're never present.
No. No. And that's why the relatability with things like phones, I think. And even this is something that I've really been thinking about recently is just how in my head I can be with work,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I've kind of got this rule that now where I can, I try and keep 3:30 till 4:30 clear on my diary. So I'm not speaking to anyone as much as possible for when he gets in,
Yeah.
because I can't always promise that I don't need to work in the evening. Sometimes I do.
Yeah.
But if I can keep that hour for when he walks in from school, then
Mm.
he does. He comes in the office, he comes and sits down, he plays TikTok in my ear and talks about whatever's going on in his life.
I know,
Sometimes
but
he
you're,
doesn't talk
yeah,
to me at all,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
really resonate with that.
But like we have lunch every day, every day. I mean,
Oh,
come what may. I mean, my schedule is that we have lunch, we sit down and we have lunch together every single day.
I
And
love that.
that's non-negotiable. It's non-negotiable. So yeah, no, we're in a good. I mean, she's just going to be 18 next month, so it's at a
Amazing.
different stage now. Yeah.
Yeah. So what led you to stop and how?
Okay, so COVID, obviously COVID. I gained, I think we all, well, maybe we didn't all, but I know I mean, I gained a fair amount of weight during COVID. And I remember doing a photo shoot for my new website, which is now non-existent. And I just looked like, I mean, literally, I was 20 pounds heavier than I am now. Imagine you get like a bicycle pump and you pump me up. I mean, literally, I was like, and I also went through, so I would have gone through menopause. My last period was September 2019. Okay, well, so, but anyway, but a lot of kind of hormones going on. And so COVID ended end of 2020, right? Well, it kind of felt like it went on for
Well,
ages, but I mean, it went on.
who knows?
So yeah,
This, this is the picture, the photo shoot you're talking about is the picture that you sent me, right?
yeah, yeah,
Wow, I'm looking at it now.
yeah.
Wow.
I mean, am I wearing a grey
Yeah.
vest, a grey top? Yeah. And then the other one is a couple of weeks ago where, I mean, it's like, and so so it's quite a difference, right?
Yeah.
But you can see,
Yeah.
again, I mean, one thing is the face and the eyes and the dull, and like if you saw close the eyes, the kind of spark, there's just no spark in my eyes whatsoever. And I mean, and I was just so inflated. And but yeah. So how did I said I tried AA. AA for me didn't, it's helped millions of people and it's fabulous. But I tried AA, but AA, every time I left an AA meeting, just made me want to drink more. I found it so
Yeah.
depressing. I found
My
it so
brother found
depressing.
my brother found AA and NA really
Yeah,
like
I
that.
found it really, yeah, and I just found it just really brought me down. And I know they say that the kind of the religious element, the higher power, you can choose what you call it, but
Mm.
I just didn't, as someone who's not religious, I just didn't feel particularly comfortable. But more than that, I just left wanting to drink. I was like, well, that kind of beats the object. There is a wonderful community around it, which I like. But no, so what I did, the first thing, and I'll send these links to you because this changed my life. There's a book called This Naked Mind by Annie Grace. It's called This Naked Mind, Control Alcohol. And what she does, in the book, it helps you change your relationship. It's not about willpower. It's not about giving up. It's about gaining. It's about your identity. I'm someone who doesn't drink. It's yet again, she's big into this cognitive dissonance where, yes, you know you shouldn't, but you do. And so this would be, for me, this was the first step. And I've read this many times. I've read it and I've listened to it. From that to this started, actually, I wrote this down because my memory is not what it used to be. I did this in October. I did this in October 2021. Following on from that is a thing called, and this is what changed, it's called the alcohol experiment, which is also from Annie Grace. And it's 30 days, and every day you get little videos, you get journal prompts, you get education, you get, you learn. It's not just about stop doing that, because you know what it's like. As soon as you tell anyone to don't do something, what do you want to do? You want to do it, right? So this alcohol, and they even say you can do it. What do they say? 30 days to take control, cut down, or give up for good. They say if you want to, you can actually drink whilst doing it, and then you decide at the end. I didn't drink at the end. But the final thing they said at the end of the 30 days, if you've gone in not drinking, and if you still feel you've got that itch to scratch, they said there's one last experiment we want you to do. And it is in a room with no music, with no people, with no stimulus, nothing else. You video yourself, you get your alcohol, you get your wine, you have a drink, you have one drink, and you describe how it feels, and you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going, and you video yourself whilst you're getting drunk. You see your face start to slide, you see your voice. So I ended up in tears and crying. I drank a bottle of wine within an hour, and then started moving on to the next one. I still have these videos. No one's ever seen them. Times further down the line when things got tough, I went back and I looked at them, and they said, because alcohol, we associate alcohol having a good time or cheering you up or de-stressing you, but just the raw, and it is really raw, just drinking the wine without any stimulation, it makes you really focus on the taste, the feeling, and you video yourself. So you film yourself, video. Look at me. Not born in 1969.
I would have said video as well.
Oh, okay. You see how you start to deteriorate, and you're like, is this what I want? Is this, and for me, it was the most powerful thing. I mean, as I said, I tried to stop and start for years, but reading the book, educating myself and realizing that I wasn't giving up, I was gaining, and just learning, science behind, why we feel what we feel, why we do what we do, and then changing one's identity. Every vote, like I do this with the women that I work with, like whether they press the snooze button or whether they go out for their walk before work or whether they have an apple instead of a biscuit, that's a vote for their future self. So every day I didn't drink was a vote for my future self. And this is my future self, because I don't drink. I don't need alcohol in my life. And it was the best thing I'd ever done. So that was October, but then I slipped off. And then my final drink was 31st of December. So this was all kind of like, I didn't have a rock bottom. I mean, I'd had so many rock bottoms, I remember. And there's an awful story of me going to a party here and then waking up somewhere without my shoe, not even knowing where I was. I mean, luckily I had my bag, but not yet again, not remembering. I was a blackout drunk, so I had many, many, many occasions, awful rock bottom with being at a lunch one day and being really rude to someone's husband, and then being really rude to people, saying you shouldn't have your kids on their phone. But who am I to tell the people what they should or shouldn't do? But because I was like I was quite a Larry drunk.
Mm.
And so I had many rock bottoms. So yet again, I'm not quite sure what happened between October and December, but I'm guessing I was drinking. That's why I can't remember. But I decided the 31st, and so January the 1st was a good day to stop. But it was a process. It was so that was one part of it. Okay, one thing is deciding you're going to do it, but then then in typical me fashion, I said for the first 100 days, I'm going to run a mile a day for the first 100 days, and I'm going to share it on social media, to use social media as accountability. You know, I don't have a lot of family. I don't have any, I'm quite isolated. And so so every day, and yet again, I've got these videos. Well, I mean, they're on, I've got videos, 100 miles, 1 mile a day. And each day I get up, and there were days I didn't want to do it. There were days, because my sleep was terrible. People think as soon as they stop drinking, the weight's going to drop, your sleep's going to be better, your skin's going to glow. It took me months. I mean, I would say almost, well, yeah. So I did that, but it's about repetition. As in repetition what you do. I mean, like if you drink every day, that's repetition. That builds a really strong habit. So you've got to undo that. And it is about replacing things. There's a lot of what do they call it? Quitlet. This is Holly Whitaker. Yet again, I'll share it with you. Quit Like a Woman, the radical choice to not drink in a culture obsessed with alcohol. So I was consuming podcasts and reading books. I was replacing, because suddenly, Chrissy, I had so much time. I suddenly had so much time.
I just need to share, if you're listening to this, please do go and find it on YouTube as well, because this woman is making me so emotional because she's so incredible.
Oh, we're both gonna cry now.
You literally got your life back.
Yeah, I mean, it's still, Chrissy, 4.5 years in. I mean, for 2 years I didn't go out.
Yeah.
Maybe 3. And because I'm very busy with my work, I get interaction with people. I mean, but for me, what keeps me moving forward, I'm really strict with my routines, my bedtime. I'm in bed at 10:15. I'm up at 6:30. I have a minimum step count. I do this. Sleep is my superpower. Now I've got my sleep. Sorry, lovely. I know you had a bad night.
No. I protect it at all costs. Absolutely. Sometimes that works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
It is
so there's, we're all a work in progress, and it's all a journey. I mean, the future, I said my daughter's going to be 18 next month. There'll be a time that, well, she will eventually leave me, and my 2 kitty cats are 15. They'll eventually go. I mean, maybe I'll just get a dog and I'll be happy with that. I mean, that's kind of what I'm hoping. But, I don't think like the kind of dating world, I have kind of social anxiety without alcohol now, even though I can go to lunches and I can go to dinners, but I don't go to dinners because I know this sounds crazy, but I prioritize. My sleep is more important than going out for a dinner.
I know. I taught 9 other women how to make sourdough last night, and it was such a great evening. But I didn't get home until 9:45, and 10 o'clock is my bedtime, really, between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. And then, when you've been around people, you're a little bit wired. And so then it takes you time to, by the time I've taken off my makeup. And that's why I didn't sleep very well last night, because I went to bed too late, even though I was home in time to be in bed on time. I have to, I have my routine. I read, I have to meditate, I have to do my breathing so I go to sleep. And so the sleep at all costs, yeah. And I'm the same. I really have to think about what I say yes to in the evenings because that sleep rules my life.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't have much of a social life. I mean, my social life, I race. I mean, I do a lot of running. Um, I race most weekends, and so that for me is getting out and I don't necessarily meet people. I'm there with thousands of other people, but I have a great friend, Alexei, who we will have kind of coffee and cake after the race and like pull the world apart and put it back again. He's also sober, which is great. So, and so that is kind of a social life, even though I don't actually necessarily meet new people. But that's something that that's something to work, to work on.
Routine is very important, isn't it? Routine. And you still are out, if it's not running, you're out walking early, aren't you?
So mine is, I mean, literally, so Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm out the door at 6:45, and I get my 5,000 steps before I start work because I have a client at 7:55. And so I go out for my walk. Literally, I mean, I live in a beautiful place. I mean, and the weather is great. So it's so that, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays, like this morning, I had a speed work session, run session, because I work with a run coach, and that was down to the marina and back. So that was 8K before work. Then Thursday will be the same, but a different time session. Saturday is my rest day, but minimum 10,000 steps. Yeah. That's just going to the supermarket and back. Or I'll make sure, or if I need to, I'll go further away. I mean, it's just a minimum. And then Sunday will be racing or long run. But actually, last weekend I did 2 races. I did a race on Saturday evening and then a race on Sunday morning. Not ideal, but it is what it is.
We move.
Yeah.
Okay, so a few last questions then. What happens when you feel tested?
Great question. So it doesn't happen so much now. But when I did, and there's a key thing, and I can't remember if this comes from the Naked Mind or even possibly AA, play the tape forward. So you stop and you play the tape forward. You go, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And so let's say if I was being tested, I want to have 1 drink, that 1 would lead to 2, that 2 would lead to 3. And then how would I feel the next day? And I've undone it. So you just stop and it's, and I play the tape forward. That's what I used to do. But the important thing is just to stop, take a few really deep breaths and just wait and play the tape forward.
Yeah, great. Why do you think so many women have a difficult relationship with alcohol?
I mean, look at all, I mean, it's kind of less now, it's becoming less now, but look at all those, those kind of boards that people have in their kitchen, the kind of wine, it's mummy's juice or rosé all the time.
Wine o'clock
or it's like, oh, I'm having this because it helps me to relax. It helps me to de-stress. It helps me. Marketing's been marketing heavily. And then I think, the mums, or not necessarily women, kind of getting together and it's like, it's socially acceptable. Social conditioning, it's just, if everyone was doing kind of lines of coke at the, while they're at the playground, people would be like, that's just not, but it's all right to have, let's have our wine in our cooler bag, or nappy changing bag. I don't know if it's as bad as that, but anyway, but maybe.
You said this at the beginning as well. So alcohol isn't a taboo, but drugs are. And alcohol is legal, but if it was just invented now, it wouldn't be.
Chrissy, alcohol is the one addictive drug you have to justify giving up.
Yeah.
Like if someone gets given up smoking, you don't kind of go, oh, go on, have one. Go on, have a fag, have a cigarette. Or someone's given up heroin, you go, go on, just didn't get one more time. Come on. But with a drink, they go, oh, God, 1 won't hurt. You have to justify. I mean, things are changing slowly, surely. But it's like menopause was a kind of taboo. That's changing. Alcohol and people's relationship with alcohol, it is changing, but it's still very, very, very prominent. But it's the one, and I repeat this, it's the one addictive drug you have to justify giving up.
Yeah.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, I don't drink. And then it's almost like people are waiting for you to say why. There doesn't have to be a why.
And I often say to people, it's like, if you eat bad prawns, you like prawns and they make you feel sick. How often do you think, right, I'm never having a prawn again? And you put you off. But with alcohol, you can have serious, awful hangover and feel like death, but within 24 hours. But that's just showing, the danger of it. It draws you back. But how many people say, oh, no, I don't eat prawns. I had a bad prawn once or a bad oyster once, and they never go back. But with alcohol, people just go back, and I think in school, I don't know what this, I think it's something that should be on the syllabus in school, the dangers of alcohol.
In our world as well, when we're dealing and working with women who have confidence problems already and they don't feel comfortable in their body, I know myself that I used to feel like I couldn't come out of my shell until I'd had a couple of glasses of something. And so I think there's that social acceptance, but there's also when you are working with women who already don't like what they see in the mirror and then they're thrust into a social situation, it's an easy crutch, isn't it?
It is until it isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
What message have you got to the woman who's listening who thinks that some of this sounds like her?
Okay, so first of all, anyone listening, lovelies, just get curious. Get curious. Don't put a label. You don't need a rock bottom. You don't need to give up for it. Maybe just get curious. What I would suggest is, there's lots of podcasts and books and things, or maybe just spend a time not thinking about, oh, I've got to stop, but just looking at your relationship with alcohol. How does it genuinely make you feel? And if it's something you've questioned or you've Googled or have I got a problem? Then it might be worth exploring. But so my thing, my exploring areas of different. There's lots of different ways of either stopping drinking or just. I don't believe in moderation. For me, moderation doesn't work. Some people, I call them unicorns, they can. But so my biggest thing would be just be curious about your relationship. Don't label, don't get dramatic. Just be gentle with yourself, but be honest. Be honest. And you know what? There is life on the other side. You don't need alcohol to have a good time. And as a 56-year-old woman who's got more energy and vitality than I had in my 20s, 30s, or 40s, I want to be the poster woman to say, you just don't need it. If you can be that person who has a drink every now and again and don't, then that's great. That's great. But when it just feels like it's just taking control and you're not in control of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. Where's the best place for people to find you? Where do you hang out? I know where you hang out, but
I'm an Instagram. I'm Facebook. I'm an Instagram gal. Instagram. I do daily stories. My daily stories, because I'm out on my walks and I've got beautiful. I'm out just reminding everyone just to get up and move. Because you get to. And so so Instagram, Katherine Williams Fitness, Facebook, Katherine Williams Fitness as well. So people can, and if anyone has any questions, I'd love to reach out. And what I will share, I'll send you
send me the links,
those resources. So yes, that's where you can find me.
Thank you, my darling. I love you so much. Thank you so much for giving your time this afternoon. This has been amazing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Having me.
And we'll see you in the next episode, everyone. Bye bye.
All right. Bye.